So this is my third reader response for The Bluest Eye. In reading the last one, it really drove home, I guess, three main themes, and I think they're all very much linked. The first theme, of course, that comes to mind with this section is abuse. Kali's rape of Pecola was one of the toughest things to read about. The more and more I read, I kind of related the story a lot to Precious. I don't know if you're familiar with that movie, but it's about this ugly black girl in New York from a poor family. She's really not that smart. She's not that bright. No one cares about her really until she engages with other people in a class to help her really get caught up in school. And um, I found some themes like that, like the sisterhood formed in that I thought was very interesting, and I related it to how Claudia really comes to defend and care deeply for Pecola and the sacrifice her and Frida make to give up getting a bike over summer to give money to God, hoping that her child would live. And when I think about that, I can't decide how I feel about it because as a Christian myself, reading this book, it was hard, but all things work together for a plan. But I feel like it would have almost been too stressful to give birth and have to really raise a child that everyone knows is inbred and is the result of such a betrayal. So I feel like almost that was a bit of mercy in a way that she lost the baby, because I could not myself imagine keeping a baby that is clearly the result of rape and would suffer so much because inbreeding is not good for genetics and DNA stuff. Already on top of that, I think Kali's rape is, there's definitely themes of abuse. There'd been abuse in the household between Kali and Pauline. No, Pauline, his wife, Cola's mom, and from that you could see that nothing good comes from abuse, and that a lot of the hurtful things, they are cycles. And I don't think he's ever going to reach a place where he's going to be able to break a cycle. I don't think Kali really knows how to express love. I found myself struggling to believe when Claudia said that people did love Pecola and she named Kali, because I feel like love is not abuse. But given his traumatic past, it was kind of like, it took me a while to think about it, and I was like, maybe he does love her, and it's just hard to love someone when you hate yourself. And I think that's something that he passed down to Pecola, because most dads, girls get their self-worth, and how they feel from their dads. It does not mean anything if our moms are like, you're so beautiful, honey, it's like, okay. But when you're daddy's little girl and you're the apple of his eye, it just empowers you in relationships with other guys to feel special, to feel worthy. And I feel like Pecola never gets that, and she'll never get that from Kali. That brings me to the other theme of appearance and beauty. And the deeper I thought about this, it was so hard for me to just accept that when Toni Morrison told us Pecola was ugly, because she just sounded like me. Like, she had curly brown hair and brown skin and dark brown eyes. Like, that's most black girls. Well, I'm not saying most black girls, but a lot of black girls, who wear their hair natural or anything like that today. And it was really hard for me to accept that she was ugly, because if Pecola was ugly, that would mean that I was ugly. And I think any black person reading that, I don't understand how they could accept that Pecola is ugly. I always felt that, it was kind of a lens that she saw her with. Her self-worth and stuff was so low that, just like with these glasses, which make things clearer, when she, wears that lens, which she always wears, she feels so ugly when she's really just a black girl. She's just a black girl. And I think the hardest thing is that in that time, there really weren't, the archetype for beauty was blonde hair and blue eyes, or dark brown soft hair flowing down your back. And if that wasn't really attainable for black women. So it's so hard to be like, so everyone says that this is beautiful. I am none of this. I must be ugly. I feel like that was her rationale. And people all her life just kept confirming it simply because she was darker skinned. And I think this really led to her self worth and self esteem issues. And she's never able to overcome them because I don't think anybody really tried to help her. And it was so hard to read about her wandering town, the edge of town, and searching through trash and acting like a bird. And when I read into it, I thought that maybe there was some symbolism, and that, where she was just so, she hated where she was so much that she mentally had to check out. And by her kind of mimicking the actions of a bird, it was like she flew away. And when she was searching through the trash, it was like she was searching for all these things that Kali took from her when she was raped. um, the most troubling thing for me to read about was her relationship with her mom, because I know if something crazy like that ever happened, it might be hard, but I feel like that's the one person I would lean on, and she doesn't fully. Because, I mean, her mom knows about one time, but she hides another time. And I feel like she does this to kind of save her mom some pain, but I feel like it really makes her take on all this, and she's so young that she really shouldn't have had to. Let me think. And I guess the last thing, when I look at this book as a whole, I would say that it was so hard to read about how Claudia and Frida see Piccola, and they don't speak because they feel like they let her down. But I feel like by not speaking, they really let her down, because she's so far gone and really hurting that for people, she would have probably considered her friends to not be able to overcome their own, awkwardness, and see that she's hurting. We need to help her, it was kind of tough. Like, I was looking for Toni Morrison as another black lady to be like, yes, let's lift each other up. And I feel like in a way she still said that, that the only way to overcome issues in the black community is to strengthen the black community. The only way to help black girls feel beautiful is to get other black girls to feel beautiful and tell each other that we're beautiful. And I guess I would say that would be the moral of the story.